Good morning, hi and welcome back to #How to Run for President, U.S. Political Structure at Berg-Mountain Optional University's spring semester where we cover the 6th Amendment. Won't you come along with us?
Chapter 6, Week 6. Zeta. Adams, Bush Sr. Affordance of Speedy Trials. In this world everyone knows that time is money, and if it happens to be that our position is unlawful, we will rather want to know sooner than later. Thus, a speedy trial is a must, because if Berg-Mountain Spring Water is found to be harmful, the inhabitants of our cave must drink some other kind, now. They are subject to their representative and depend on his/her providing them with a product. As they are only familiar with what has been projected to them as best, a swift decision will prove to numb the pain of having to switch to another brand. We may have more time to form an alternate lawful position as opposed to wasting time on Berg-Mountain. Wasting time is like triple working oneself, because whatever we took time doing, we need time to undo it and more time to make progress on what we should have been doing. Each day, hour, minute and second in limbo is another dollar not made in a projected tax decrease. It would behoove the prosecution to dispose of the case in a timely manner as well, because theoretically they are just debating the law of citizens who are guilty, taking the position that no one is innocent. Who knows the harm our product may have done, but request a speedy trial, write it down and distribute it to the administration.
Request a speedy trial on our position's fate. In no way does speedy mean a careless or inadequate defense. However, it is quite the opposite as we have already made our defense in Chapter 2. It is just that the authorities have yet to acknowledge it, but, while seeing us vulnerable, they took the liberty of forcefully making us prove it. Not that authorities shouldn't do their jobs, but not being familiar with the small operation we have going on in our cave, they, perhaps, needed direction. I've always reminded us to write our position down, edit, print and distribute it so that such instances may be avoided. Fair market value ensures our product will prosper, and as of now, its mass production is in question. With the profits we are able to reinvest and grow, but that growth is hindered every minute its legality or lack thereof is in question. We all know that ignorance of the law is not a valid defense, so we never know what turn or twist the prosecution plans to question our validity until charged, but whatever the case are being prepared as per Chapter 2 shouldn't allow time for the prosecution to form a better case.
Write it down, edit and print it out. All we know as we've been in the cave since childhood is the trademark for Berg-Mountain and that it is associated with our source of water. Quality is not initially considered, when what we have is what we get, but it is outside the cave where other sources of water are available at the market. What we have grown used to may be unacceptable compared with the standard. All the market allows is standard, good, and premium, better, water, so our position may be compromised, if it is not at least standard. If it is good to some, we can advertise that it is best, because the superlative is subjective. All we have to prove to the court is the objective position that our water is acceptable, good. If this position hadn't been proven with Chapter 2, removing our product from the shelves is the first thing we should do, because there is only one thing worse than government and that's a lack of government.
Distribute our position to the judge, jury, and prosecution. Theoretically, the case should be dismissed, and we can go back to offering our product to the market, but if it is somehow insufficient, and the prosecution is still not satisfied, a speedy trial should confirm or deny our position. Remember not to take the prosecution personally, even though it may be. They may be opposed to our position for the same reasons we are for ours. The prosecution may see other waters as Hebrews consider others, Gentile, and just because they are unfamiliar with our brand, they hold it to the same scrutiny as they would or do theirs. Allowing the trial to linger on provides more time for the prosecution to build its case where one is supposedly innocent until proven guilty. We all are most comfortable at home where tradition overrides the majority, those under our auspices drink number 2 rather than number 1 or vice versa. Knowing our position is an alternate, we are not competing to be first place as the two main opposing parties do. We just want to be acceptable, and in being acceptable the label of better or best may be applied, preferably, sooner rather than later and today rather than tomorrow.
If we are running for president, we need all the time possible to work on our campaign, so lengthy court battles are detrimental to our cause. No one wants to be in violation of the law, not even outlaws. We were driven to our position on Berg-Mountain Spring Water because it was all we knew at one time, and so too were others driven to theirs. We may be ignorant of its legality, but if so, our wasting time on it is not going to help anyone. So, request a speedy trial, take our position from Chapter 2 and distribute it to relevant parties for the trial. As there is no such thing as bad publicity, our representing Berg-Mountain guilty or innocent puts our cave and others similar in a unique position. If the decision is not guilty, we are catapulted to an equal position with the opposing red and blue parties and on our way to running for president. If guilty, being found detrimental, we representing our cave must endorse another source of water for our clientele. With our endorsement also comes another who like us spent their childhood in a cave and is running for president, so endorsing the red or blue party should not be the case. Nevertheless, knowing our options sooner rather than later is requested, if not demanded.
That concludes the information we have for you this session. Feel free to research more and expound on what we've learned thus far. Next session we cover the 7th Amendment. We can't wait to see you there. Until then, thanks for your time and consideration.